Hey everyone, welcome back to Technicos. Today we are talking about the most practical and no nonsense roadmap that will help you to become a solid developer in just 6 months. Let me tell you, this is not one of those videos where I throw around a bunch of buzzwords, promote paid courses, or redirect you to a fancy website. I am here to give you exactly what you need, the way I wish someone had given it to me when I started. You will get everything from front-end, back-end databases, tools, and yes, even how to utilize AI effectively. Now, I know a lot of people are worried right now. You have probably heard that noise like AI is going to replace developers and a lot of things like this. This is very hot topic, and I will also try to make a dedicated video very soon where I will deep dive into this topic. But let me just say this clearly, AI is not your enemy. It's your powerful tool, your teammate. The people who spread panic are usually either not from a real tech background or are just trying to get clicks, hype, or promote something that is not relevant to you. And I can tell you this, developers are not getting replaced in the next 6 to 7 years. In fact, the demand for smart, adaptable full stack developers, the kind who know how to use AI instead of fearing it, is only going to rise. So stick around whether you are a complete beginner or someone trying to level up. This roadmap is going to give you the clarity and direction you need. So let's start. I have already done the heavy lifting for you. Everything I cover in this roadmap, all the topics and learning breakdowns is available in a well organized markdown file, and you can get those files from my GitHub and you can download it or simply clone the repository and start learning right away, or you can start it for your reference. So we start our journey with the foundation of the web, which is HTML. Learn how to structure web pages. When you start, I recommend you learn what are these tags used for. You should go through every single thing. You should understand how to add text, how to add media content to your web pages, how you can use attributes and best practices, how you can utilize hyperlinks and navigations. You should also know how to use forms in HTML, how to structure the layout, how you can use the div, span, header, nav, main. All these things are extremely important and everything is mentioned, so you can go through this. You how to use tables, how you can structure that. Once you are done with HTML, I can guarantee you, if you go in this way, you need only 10 to 15 days. If you are hardworking and you can learn easily, you need 10 to 15 days maximum and you will be good with HTML. Once you are done with that, I recommend you to go with CSS roadmap. A lot of people suggest to go with the Tailwind CSS, but I always recommend go with normal or raw CSS, which will improve your understanding and foundation. What is CSS? What are the different ways to apply CSS? Inline, internal, external, CSS syntax. We have selectors, colors and units, typography, box model, layout positioning, how you can use different properties, block, inline block. I don't recommend you to go and understand everything. I have created a guideline that you should know these things are present in CSS, and if you are not aware, go through it, learn these things, and you will learn by doing. Okay, I really do not recommend you to go like this, display what block does, what inline is used for, what inline block is used for. No, don't go like this. Learn by building websites and use these properties whenever you need them. Learn responsive design, how to add animations and variables and functions. Once you are done with HTML and CSS, I want you to create your portfolio website where you show your image, what you are doing, what are your educational backgrounds and all these things, or any website of your choice, because you need to practice HTML, CSS, and this will probably take around 20 days. Once you are done with this, you will move to JavaScript. Now for JavaScript, this is where you need to actually give full attention and practice everything in JavaScript. What is JavaScript, features and use cases, a lot of things. And I have also created one video for you, the ultimate JavaScript guide beginner to pro in one video. It's around 9 hour 21 minutes long video, and you will get everything that I have mentioned here in the markdown file for JavaScript. So you can refer that or refer anything of your choice. I do not force anyone to watch my video. If you like it, you can watch it. So you have JavaScript basics, syntax, what are, where, let, consts, and hosting, variable and functions. These concepts are really important. You must know these things. Control flow and loops, for, while, do, while, for in, for off, functions and scope, array and strings, DOM manipulation. This is very important for web development. You should know what is DOM, what is DOM tree, and all these things. Then we have objects and object oriented programming in JavaScript, object, literal and method, this, keyword, constructor, functions, classes, prototypes and inheritance. Everything is mentioned in the video as well. Modern JavaScript essentials, this is important as well. You should learn these things. Now it's time for asynchronous JavaScript. You should understand what is synchronous versus asynchronous, understand the call stack, event loop, task queue, microtask, macrotask, callbacks and callback hell. Everything is extremely important. Now you have extras, how you can use JSON properties, JSON stringify, JSON pass, local storage, session storage, debouncing, throttling. Once you are done with this, I highly recommend you to make websites that actually solve some of your real life problems, whether you make e-commerce website or any website of your choice, but make sure you try to intentionally integrate properties like asynchronous JavaScript, DOM and all of these, whatever you have learned so far. This is very important that you intentionally implement those properties or those features that you have learned. The JavaScript part might take a longer duration compared to your HTML and CSS, but don't worry if you are taking more time but you are understanding everything that is important, then the time will be an investment, not a delay. So now that we have covered JavaScript, it's time to level up. Let me introduce you with React, one of the most powerful and in-demand libraries for building modern web applications. React helps you build interactive, dynamic, and component-based user interfaces, the kind of stuff real companies use every day. It's developed and maintained by Facebook or Meta. So this is the first priority to learn. We have introduction to React. Why React? You should know this as well. Then React basics, React application structure, JSX syntax rules. This is very important. You should know the rules. Then you have functional components, class components, props, prop drilling, conditional rendering, state management. You should use this, use state, use effect, and component composition and reusability. This is very important because you don't create multiple similar components again and again. You create once and use in multiple places. Then you have forms in React, React router, state management. This is an advanced topic. Advanced hook, fetching data in React, performance optimization, testing, deployment. Okay, once you are done with deployment, this is very important. You use, these are the free resources that I have already written here: Netlify, Vercel, GitHub pages, because you need to show what you have built so far. So you can use Netlify, Vercel and GitHub pages to deploy what you have built. Now look, React is not something that you will master overnight. It will take time, especially if you want to truly understand how things work under the hood. But if you stay consistent, keep building, 2 months is more than enough to become confident with React and start building real world applications. Once you are done with this, I want you to create real world applications that uses React and modern technologies and use all the best practices that you have learned so far. Integrate everything. Once you created 2 to 3 good high level projects. I recommend you, if you like front-end development, if you want to make your career in that, you should learn Next.js, take your React skill to next level, and practice projects, build more cleaner code, use best practices. This much is enough for the front end. After React, it's your choice whether you further want to learn Next.js and improve your front-end skills, or you want to go with the backend. When you start backend, you will be having two paths. One is go with Node.js. The second path, go with Spring Boot. Okay, I have mentioned everything that you need to go with either of the path, but I recommend you going with path 1, which is Node.js, because you are already familiar with your JavaScript in the front end. So this will be easier for you to go with Node.js. But if you are familiar with Java, you can go with Spring Boot as well. Both the technologies have equal demands in the industry. If you go with Node.js, you will be learning what is Node.js, why to use it, core modules and environment, npm, how you can use it with your React project, file system and streams, event loop, events and asynchronous patterns, building a basic HTTP server, Express.js, you must learn this. Then how you can create REST APIs with Express, connecting to database, authentication, authorization, advanced topics like course, file uploading, sending emails, rate limiting, and deploying your final project. You can use, again I have mentioned, you can use Railways, Varsal, everything is there written. You must completely from scratch build a project that will utilize your front end as well as back end. Whichever path does not matter, but you must create projects which will actually help you build your fundamentals and understand how to build a complete web application. If you choose the path 2, I recommend you to have a basic understanding of Java, because you will be using OOPS principal, classes, interfaces, exception handling, and a lot of things are actually you should be knowing before you start Spring Boot. Then you have Spring Boot fundamentals, dependency injection and bean management, building REST APIs, data persistence, JPA, database relationship, and input validation, your authentication authorization, consuming and exposing APIs. You have project structure and best practices, testing, Spring Boot tools and dev support. A lot of things are there. Okay, if you ask me which path I would choose if I had to start again, I would probably go with Node.js, simply because I am already familiar with JavaScript. But let me share a quick personal experience. I am also familiar with Spring Boot as well as Node.js. And why Spring Boot? Because I worked in an organization where Spring Boot was used heavily, and what really helped me switch between these technologies was not knowing everything between these technologies, but it was actually having strong core concept. That's something I always tell people. Your core backend concepts should be extremely clear. You should know how to create APIs, use different HTTP methods, interact with servers, connect and communicate with database. These are the core concepts of backend. You must know these things. Okay, once you are done with Node.js, or I would suggest you, while learning Node.js, use any database, whether it is MongoDB, NoSQL or SQL. It's up to you. The learning curve is not much difficult. If you choose MongoDB, you have these things, and if you use SQL, the learning curve is little bit difficult than MongoDB, but you will understand the actual use of database. What is SQL, popular RDBMS, MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQLite. I recommend you to go with PostgreSQL if you, but it's up to you. Then you have SQL basics, joins, relationships, subqueries and constraints and normalization, what are primary keys, normal forms, not null, unique, default, what are all these things are used for. You must know these things in a good way that will actually help you to become a better developer. Once you are done with the backend and front end, or while doing the backend, I recommend you to use Git and GitHub, which is extremely useful while developing real world projects. Let me open this. We have tools and technologies, version control with Git and GitHub. You must know Git basics. What is version control, installing Git and basic configuration. Then you must know these commands. What is Git init used for, Git status, Git add, Git commit, Git log. These are extremely important when you actually build projects. This will nearly take you 2 to 3 days to understand and learn Git completely. Then after that you can go with Docker. I have not mentioned much thing. I will mention these things and update the document. You can also go with Docker. And the last thing, or it's up to you how you when you can add to your routine, AI and machine learning. Very important. AI for full stack developers. You must know how to utilize AI in your projects and your work. AI fundamentals. Okay, these are optional but useful. Machine learning versus deep learning. You should know what is machine learning, what is deep learning. You should know what are some of the key AML algorithms like linear regression, KNN, decision tree, clustering. The important thing is I am not forcing you to know, but you asked me to become a better full stack developer, so these are important things to know. Using AI APIs in your apps, highly practical. Okay, you must know how to use OpenAI, ChatGPT, or your new DeepSeek, Gemini APIs to integrate in your applications. Now, prompt engineering is another very important key skill in 2025. You should know how to utilize these things. Image generation, AI tools for developers. You have a lot of things I have mentioned here, but prompt engineering is one of the very important things that you must know. So this completes your complete 6 months roadmap. The important thing is you can complete the whole thing within 6 months, or you can take more than 6 months. It's up to you how much time and efforts you are putting to learn. I hope this roadmap will actually help you to become a good full stack developer. I will make video on the Docker as well very soon, so that's why I have not mentioned anything here. I will mention that as well. Thank you for watching. I want you to subscribe Technicos for this kind of videos. See you in next video.